That makes sense.
So, yeah, you're going to be forward.
Yeah, and just so you know, I just told okay, as well as
Our voice.
and the camera's YouTube, and I told her she could look for something.
6:59. Yeah, sometimes I have to go back. Did I say that?
Mine still says 6:59. Her phone and my phone have never jive.
Actually, mine says 6:59.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's what I got. Check it out. There it is. Boom. Mine
okay, I'm
just
going to call this meeting to order. It is now 7 o'clock. If you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh.
Just in case it gets cold.
Oh, Ed, you're so kind.
Okay, next on the agenda is roll call. Mercedes, would you please call the roll?
Sorry. I have Mayor Cleaver.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Here.
Trustee Richard Toker.
Here.
Trustee Ed Howard.
Here.
Trustee McMahon.
Here.
And student liaison Tori McKeown. Here.
And Trustee Brett McCorder is absent.
And Trustee Brenda Burns.
Okay, we have a quorum, so we will continue on. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would entertain a motion.
I would like to make an amendment to it for discussion of the staff board Christmas event. For discussion tonight.
We have a second.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Trustee Ed Helen and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson and Trustee Richard Toker to amend the agenda and add the staff for the holiday party discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of October 25th, 2023, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of October 25th, 2023 as presented by staff.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Trustee Richard Stoker and a second by Trustee McManning to approve the minutes of October 25th, 2023. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the Mancus United presentation. And so you'll come up and state your name and address for the record for us, and it's all yours. All right.
Hi, I'm Katie McClure. I live at 6554 Road 41 down Weber Canyon. I'm also with Mancus United, and I'm here to talk with you about belonging, connection, and fun. How many of you are very familiar with Mancus United? You know who we are and what we do? Pretty close, a little bit. Maybe we can help us increase that tonight. So Mancus United was born after 2 youth suicides we had a few summers back. Your school board went to the superintendent and said, we have this amazing community, amazing resources, amazing school, but we're still losing kids. We have to do something. So they went to the social service sector and they worked for months looking at the data. Fast forward, they birthed Mancus United, an organization dedicated to a vision of a socially and emotionally healthy, safe, and united Mancus community. So I'm the one now part-time staff person, but we have a dozen board members, a dozen people intentionally representative of our community and dedicated to its mission. The first order of business when we started was to learn about what works in suicide prevention. And I'll summarize it here in a brief lecture on neuroscience. That was a joke. A little bit. But how many of you know the hand model of the brain? Are you familiar with that? Yeah. So this is the prefrontal cortex, represents the prefrontal cortex, or where your best thinking and your rational thinking happens. In here is your amygdala. It's attached to your fear response system. It's in charge of fight, flight, freeze, and appease. It's got a very important job. When we're stressed, it goes to work and it takes care of us. But it also causes us to kind of flip our lid. We lose our reasoning sometimes, especially when we move from stress to toxic stress. And especially more when that toxic stress is happening over and over a long period of time. When that happens, this gets really strong. It does its job really well, but we can't get back online. We're completely dysregulated, and this is how we go about our daily life. But what the evidence and the researchers will tell us is that there are things that can reverse all that. And included in that list of things that can reverse it are things like belonging, connection, and fun. So while this is neuroscience, that's not. That's easy. We can all do this. And that will rewire our bodies and brains so that we can get back into a regulated state. So that's suicide prevention, and that's what we do. But it also reduces things like chronic disease, substance misuse, which is generally a solution. When you're in this state, you solve it by masking it with substance misuse. It can reduce neglect, and it can reduce all sorts of violence. That fight response goes away. It also results in improvements in school engagement, graduation rates, work engagement, overall health and well-being, all of which end up improving things that you all care about and we all care about, like housing and our tax base. You end up spending less money downstream addressing all those things. So when we started, we listened to parents, we listened to school staff, students, employers, and community members. And one thing we learned was that summers were hard. Recall, both suicides occurred in the summer, but also it's just hard. In a small town like ours, even with all the amazing programs, parents shared how hard it is to find enough care and programs to accommodate their kids' needs while they work. Some quit their jobs.
Wait a minute. Can we stop just a minute? I'm going to turn this on.
I have mine on.
I just noticed that.
It's okay. A lot of moving parts.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Some quit their jobs. Some make really hard decisions not to quit their jobs, even if they don't have adequate childcare. Employers shared their struggles when employees who are parents quit in the busy summer tourist season or have to navigate moving their kids from program to program or caregiver to caregiver. Kids talked about being bored, and we know what happens when kids are bored. So Mancus United took what we had learned about connection, belonging, and fun, and we took what we had learned from the community about summers, and we started vetting the idea of an all-summer day camp. We had no idea how to do that. We did hold community co-creation sessions, and the community taught us how to adapt the idea and how to find the necessary expertise to make it happen. Fast forward a few months, and Mancus United as a community launched the Mancus Summer Hub. I was so excited and had really high expectations, but even my high expectations were blown away by what happened. I've watched the video you're about to watch dozens of times, and it makes me smile every time. This video is about 3.5 minutes. When it's over, I'll quickly share some results and then close my comments. Maybe. It was like that before I came up. It was like a
Screen on.
You switch switch the input, Jason.
And maybe while he's doing that, I can tell you what the results were. Oh, here we go. That's fine. Pay attention to all the partners who get listed throughout the video too. Oops. Right? So 100% of our participants want to attend again. 100% of parents would recommend to a friend for their kids. And 100%, I'm really proud of this one, of staff would recommend to a friend as a place to work. But most surprising was the impact on family stress. The first chart in front of you at the top shows how stressed families thought they would have been without Summer Hub. Look at all the 8s, 9s, and 10s. They thought they were expecting a lot of stress. The second below is how stressed their summer actually was with Summer Hub. And those are out at the 0, 1, 2, 3. Attach that to what we know about the brain and body and stress, and imagine homes with less stress and kids with less stress, and how that bleeds into classrooms and workplaces and community. That's the magic. So Mancos United's origin resides in suicide prevention. We know what works: belonging, connection, and fun. We know these things are not rocket science, and we can all do these things at home, at school, at work, and community. Mancos United does this through intentionally designed things like Mancos Summer Hub, but also through things like a 3-day overnight retreat for incoming 6th graders to address the middle school cliff we're aware of nationally, summer potlucks to connect our community, music festivals to create joy and belonging, pop-up activities for high schoolers so they have something to do. And with all of this, we've had the town's guidance, and for that we are grateful. We're grateful to all of you. We're grateful to Jamie Higgins for serving on our board of directors, to Jason Armstrong for providing context related to your actually very detailed plans, and to Heather Alvarez for always ensuring that we're aligned with your priorities. I will continue to keep you posted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Good job.
Does someone have a question?
Wow,
It's a cool.
No,
pretty cool program.
Yeah.
you had such a great turnout.
Didn't look like they had any fun though.
Yeah, they all look so sad.
Yeah. You drug them there, kicking and fighting.
Yeah.
So does this mean you're gonna have more students than next year? Since more staff will get hired and more kids will be able to come?
That's our hope. We have a grant, a 2-year grant that requires it to be free for all kids. So we use that until it runs out, either last summer and this coming summer. We're now working to figure out how to sustain that going forward. So we have a couple grants that lead into the next year. And we will probably start charging for those families who can afford it, and then do a sliding scale and work to get grants and scholarships so that it continues into the foreseeable future.
Well, with the lack of Mancos not having a recreational program that it did years and years ago, I think this is something that's what was enlightening to me, was seeing, and what you mentioned was some of those things are just things that bring the community back together in such a positive way. You can't beat that.
That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
And our kids are our future.
Yeah.
Just, it's great to build them up.
Yeah, it's-
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is audience business. Anybody here want to speak? Okay, moving forward to announcements. Heather.
I do not have any announcements because I did not recall. But let me check this down.
Guys.
Is we don't have. I think Carrie has an announcement.
Starting Saturday, we will be starting to use the water, the old water tank. The contractors will move in on Monday, demo the tank on Tuesday, and move out on Wednesday.
Wow.
Construction of the new tank will be.
That's
Wow, awesome.
So you tell me the water's gonna be a little stale?
Are you kidding?
And then transmission. Transmission.
We got a leak on our transmission line running through the river, which will be tackled next week also.
It's the big week.
We got a wet spot on you. This will be the third time we've repaired it.
So now that I think, once we get going on the new tank construction and gets into a routine, I think that, the raw water transmission line design and everything is in 2024, at least some preliminary numbers. I think we're gonna, start looking for funding, we can get basic roundtables and everything. We wanted to get some of our other projects kind of going into a routine, so we had time to start a new project.
Perfect.
And then Justin, do you have
So just letting the board know, we've had EVs or electric vehicles. Residents, unfortunately, for the town or that live in town have been using the Boyle Park stands with inverter cables. So the marshal's office will start towing and citing those owners with theft of utilities. Any vehicle we find illegally plugged into a town-owned utility. So, because it's theft from the public at that point. So when we start that, and we are probably gonna tow a few, the board will get the complaint, so I want you to know where our stance is on that. So,
Where are they plugging them in?
Yeah,
Where?
I'm not sure what.
4 spaces away from the charging.
Oh,
And
they're,
there's like
they're
a-
just running core down?
It's a 110 inverter cable that you plug into a 110 and then it goes to their car.
And these
It's a
are
slow-
people that live in town? They're
Yes.
Is there a way to lock that?
We've done that, but they're just so I mean, they can plug into any town-owned outlet and do the same thing
Do you know
anywhere in
why?
town.
I mean, if they can afford an EV, why
Because
would
people are jerks.
they? Fair answer, Justin.
Scratch that from the minutes.
So, but yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, that's,
But I want the board to be aware where the marshal's office is and how we're gonna
Understandable.
attack this
yeah, we'll
problem.
support you. Yeah, of course.
it's theft of public property.
So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else, does any of the boards have any?
Is there any discussion about getting another EV plug-in?
It's not because it's not being used while they're plugging in, they're just
It's
doing it
just
to
trying
not
to
pay.
save money.
Because that one costs.
Right, I understand that, but I mean, if that would, it seems like every time I drive by, somebody's plugged in. So I was just wondering, not every time, but I do see it used.
It gets used a lot.
Jimmy and I, through ChargePoint, the software that runs the charging station, we can give you a usage report.
Okay.
So why don't I
Didn't we see one?
add that?
Yeah, we had one at one time.
October 1st.
Yeah, we did it a while ago.
I don't know if it'll be December 8th, because we have a lot on that agenda.
Yeah, no, anytime.
Like put in FYI behind the agenda that says FYI usage report for charging station. And then when you all look at it, you can say, you know what, I want to add this to a workshop or something. So why don't I at least give you the usage info?
Okay.
And then at that meeting, you guys can decide if you want to.
Great.
So I will include that with December 8th, but it'll go right behind the agenda just as an FYI.
Okay.
And then I will add, I don't know that all of you know, but Old Fashioned Christmas, the tree lighting will be the first Friday night, and then Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus will come in on the fire truck, lead the kids around town, up the street, and then back down to the community center for candy and treats from the VFW auxiliary. And
Who's Santa Claus?
no, I have Santa already lined
You
up.
got him nailed. Okay.
So, just to let you know, that is December 1st, and then the Parade of Lights in Cortez is December 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, the Treasurer's Report, October bills and claims. Anyone have any questions? Or?
I do. So you answered one of my questions, which is what's ChargePoint? So now I know it's the EV station, but I see that we had like a $1,100, almost $1,200 repair.
It was a head repair. The head on the thing wasn't operating, so it was $1,100 for the part.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And what the heck? Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was.
And I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the bills and claims as presented.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson and a second by Trustee McManning to approve the October bills and claims as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say sound. Motion carries. Next is the committee reports. The Missouri County Commissioner is not here. The student liaison report, we won't update. We have two of our people here, and we won't ask you to report tonight. Well, next week, we'll ask for a report from one of you, our next meeting. The Montezuma County Planning Commission met on the 19th of October. I attended that meeting. They're still discussing the wedding venue down the canyon. I don't know where that's going to go. It keeps going back and forth between the planning and zoning and the board of commissioners, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know. I'll just keep sending them on that and let y'all know when it goes through or doesn't go through. Region 9.
I really don't have anything new from Region 9.
You see that?
Nothing,
Nothing new.
not until next month.
Okay, so moving right along then, to discussion and action items. Number 1 is the Chavalos La Mesa liquor license transfer.
Yes, and Deanna is here if you have any questions. But basically, we're just changing from Chavalos to La Mesa, and the legal ownership is changing, so you're required to approve legal ownership. There have been no violations, the marshal's office has no objections, just a standard, it's basically just a business transaction. But Deanna is here if you all have any questions.
I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the liquor license transfer of ownership and name from Chavalo's Mexican Restaurant to La Mesa Mexican Restaurant, and authorize the town clerk treasurer to submit the transfer application to the Department of Revenue.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee McManning and a second by trustee Ed Allen to approve the liquor license transfer of ownership and name from Chavalo's Mexican Restaurant to La Mesa Mexican Restaurant, and authorize the town clerk treasurer to submit the transfer application to the Department of Revenue. Mercedes, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee, Denise Bennett.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Toker.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Allen.
Aye.
Trustee McManus.
And motion carries, so congratulations and
Thank you.
thank you for attending.
Jenny said we all have something to say, but, if she has any questions, she'll just take it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much.
Have a great evening.
Okay, next on the agenda is the water meter upgrade, and
So I'll start it off with potentially some backstory and some financial information, but if you have questions about the meters themselves and how they operate, Terry will, jump in. So we have been researching this since we discussed the, Oak Ridge rates, a little bit back, and had, a lot of public interest in our water meters, our rates, how we set them, that kind of thing. So we use master meter, which, but the meters are, the last time we did a meter upgrade was more than, I believe, 10 years ago. Yeah, so they are getting a little bit older. We do replace them if they malfunction, but we don't go through and routinely replace meters. Plus, technology has changed, and they have some options for what they call smart meters that they didn't have originally. So Terry went direct to master meters. Currently, we're using a supplier. Terry went direct to master meter, and by going direct to master meter, a couple of things. One, if we buy in bulk, we can save some money, and we cut out the middleman, so we save some money. Right now, we pay $260 or $300 for a 3/4 inch meter, and we can get them for $219. So I ran some rough numbers and added a little bit just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. But we're looking at a total of $165,000 to purchase the meters and the software and ERGs and all of the actual slots. Town staff will do the installation in phases as time progresses and replace service maintenance and that kind of thing at the same time. So our current fund balance, we have a projected fund balance of a little, maybe $4 million at the beginning of 2024. So we definitely have $160,000 in cash. I did send an email to our auditor. I did not and said, hey, if you have any issues, let me know. That's fine. I checked on our water tank project, and we are about $300,000. We have $300,000 more in funding than we're projected to spend right now, but don't go there because we'll spend that on a water tank. With this going to have some other ideas. But the point is, none of our large projects are projected to be over budget into reserves. And we currently have a pretty healthy fund balance exactly for things like this. So that is my recommendation is if you are going to approve, I wanted to let you know that financially, we have the money. And now if you have questions about how the meters read, because Terry did give you some information and Terry gave you some how meters work and that kind of thing. he can answer any technical questions regarding the meters themselves.
I have a cost question.
Yes.
Just for this Harmony Mobile, it looks like the software that reads it. Is there additional ongoing costs associated with the upgrade? Like software?
There probably is. I didn't even ask because like iTron is $260 a year.
Okay,
So it's not anything.
nothing extravagant.
It's not like Cassell where we pay $15,000.
I was gonna say, if there's any sort of,
Yeah.
okay.
It's hundreds, it's not even.
It's nothing, it's negligible. Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I should probably know this, but I'm not very well versed on like 3G, 5G. I see that these are 3G. Is there any issue with that? Because I know everything's moving to 5G and up. Is there any incompatibility issue or?
Okay, so from a tech side, again, not a tech person.
Yeah.
However, if you consider your cell phone, if you have a 3G cell phone, it will not work in a 5G area. At least that's my experience when I lived in Mexico.
Okay.
But if you have a 5G cell phone, it works in a 3G area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that we will be fine because I just upgraded my cell phone and I had a 3G phone and it worked just fine.
Okay.
I don't think that 3G is gone, right?
No. I
It
think
just
it's
gets
more-
incorporated into the higher.
Like meters, like gas meters, electric meters are all 3G.
iPhone XR is a 3G cell phone.
Well, but like Nick's saying, we're not talking cell phones, and we're talking gas and water meters. And
Yeah, like Empire meters, I think, and gas meters, they're 3G, and I think
Okay.
that's the durable network underneath. Like 4G and 5G are more prone to failure. 3G is the solid network.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. I just saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it and I was like, oh no.
And it looks like they're radio frequency too. It looks like they're dual.
Right now, don't we use a radio read? Isn't that what's called? So he knows about the radio piece of it, but I, like all of our staff, I don't know.
Yeah. And I love the whole impeller thing. It's like, I feel like that's going to be really accurate.
Yeah, the leak thing's cool.
So what's gonna be the biggest benefit? The meters are gonna be more accurate. And when somebody gets a high bill and they come in and say, hey, I disagree. Mercedes will give me an address and I'll go out, print up. We can do data logging for 164 days every hour for the day. And we can give that to them and say, here's your water use.
Terry, how are you gonna feel when you deliver that first one? You're gonna
He's gonna be.
put a bow on it.
Make it be one of us. That's really cool.
Yeah,
So
not out
I think that's
loud.
gonna be really big just for Mercedes and somebody that's upset about their water bill. They can actually see where the use is and what time of day
Mm-hmm.
it is.
I just think as far as like, again, citizen transparency,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it'll be,
Well,
and it will make it easier on not just staff, but on you making decisions.
it just gives us another legal ramification of what's going on.
And it may help prevent some of that conflict with the leak. You know, if they can get a notification about the leak ahead of time. Yeah.
So how's that, is that gonna notice you or alert somebody that there's a leak? Or is it still gonna be just once a month?
That'd probably be me.
Yeah, because I read it, it does say it alerts somebody.
24 hours.
That it's a leak detection.
I mean, we definitely wanna utilize that. I mean, 'cause
Mhm.
water's our most valuable commodity.
Looks like it's built in every 24 hours. It
That's what it says.
cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll save the customer water and it'll also save the town.
Right.
Yeah. And I see it says that it does integrate with Cassell. Perfect.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was my first question. Even before how much does it cost, that was my first question, is again, if it doesn't, it really the sellers.
And master meters, like proven, we're not experimenting on new technology.
We have master meter now.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
We have reps and, yeah, okay.
I have no other concerns.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah, Terry did all the research,
Yeah,
and he's
good
been
work.
meeting, looking at demos of people
Mm.
talking to him.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. This is
Yes,
really going to be
this is
great for the
nice.
town.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. Then, I would entertain a motion.
I'll authorize the $165,000 from waiver, the water fund reserves to purchase new smart meters and require the meter reading software for all current taps utilizing our water system.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Jutoker and a second by trustee McManning to authorize $165,000 from the water fund reserves to purchase new smart water meters and required meter reading software for all current taps utilizing our water system. Mercedes, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Allen.
Sure.
Trustee Fish.
Okay, motion carries. And before we move on to the next discussion, I do have another announcement. I was doing buddy copies on Saturday in front of Walmart. I had 2 people come up to me and ask me if I was still the mayor of Mancos. And I said yes, and they said, we want to tell you that the young lady that you have in the front office is the most professional person that we have dealt with in a long time. And so Mercedes, 2 different people at 2 different times, because I was there from 8:30 till 4 o'clock. And they said that this one gentleman, I always say he's a little bit, he's kind of like my son, he's crude, socially unacceptable. But he said he had never been treated so professionally and so nice, and you answered every question that he had. And he said, I want to tell you to tell her thank you. And he says, I don't get dealt that way very often. I give a rough treatment, and he said she was just awesome. And then the other gentleman came up, and he also sang your praises. So I wanted to do that in an open meeting, because I want staff to know that we are hearing compliments about our staff all over. Like I said, these guys didn't have to do that at that particular time, and they did. So thank you, Mercedes, for making that impression on people for our town.
Good job, kid.
Hooray.
So, okay, moving right along is our unhoused discussion.
Yeah.
So, I'll kick it off, and then if you have any questions, or if Justin and Jason want anything to add, we'll go from there. But we've been talking about how to, in the future, handle any unhoused people that we run into in Vegas, because we have no services in town for them. Winter's coming, so we've talked about a little bit of workshops and things. I did not get any questions or FAQs or talking points or anything from you, so what staff did is we put together what the 3 of us think are talking points, current problems, common misconceptions. We put some of this stuff together for you all to look at and give us feedback on. We included the final draft of the private property enforcement letter that we talked about at the last workshop. What this will do is, if we have out of town or absentee owners or business owners who are having trouble with unhoused people sleeping on their property or trespassing, if they fill this out, the marshal's office can proactively enforce. Because without this, they have to wait to call the marshal's office. They cannot go on private property and proactively enforce unless we are asked to by the property owner. And then there's a resource list, but I got another one from Jason today. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at that list and potentially use that one. But either way, this is kind of what the resource list looks like. If you're getting it online, you click on the links and it'll take you to the website. There's also phone numbers to call, just some basic info. So we may switch up the resource list a bit based on opinion projects work on this problem and on this topic in Montana County. But we wanted final feedback from you all, because at the last workshop, we wanted to see this now. And then staff is gonna start working on scheduling a public meeting that you all will run, or however you work that out, but sometime in January, at the biggest library.
So do we have to wait till January to sign this letter, or can we sign it and start immediately?
We
For
haven't
business
released
owner
anything
For
to
a
the
business owner,
Property owner.
We haven't released it to the public yet, we're waiting for some feedback from you all.
Well, you can't sign it.
Don't sign it.
So, I mean, I guess you can sign it. If you want to sign it personally, that's fine, but what we're looking for though is some feedback for that unhoused discussion that you guys are going to lead. Are these talking points okay?
So what are we gonna do if we do end up with a person? Are we gonna transport them to other facilities?
No, what you guys wanted to do on this
Right.
discussion was you all wanted to have a meeting, pull in churches and nonprofits and ask them to collaborate. And so it wasn't, this isn't, Justin already knows how to handle those things, but this is more of a, we would like to get the community involved discussion that we wanted to lead. If you want to go in a different direction.
No. I just wasn't sure where we were at, like if somebody's sleeping on the sidewalk
Well,
underneath one of the canopies out there. I mean, there's not a lot we can do to them unless we're,
well, right now, we kind of have a procedure, and Justin and the guys handle that.
okay.
Or the marshal's office, I should say. And if you want info on that, we can bring that back, or unless you're ready to answer.
I'm ready to answer it now. So remember, we have to provide service. So we give them an option of we can transport them to Cortez that has a shelter or Durango that has a shelter. If they refuse the service, then we can issue a citation. And then as far as signing up for the private property marshal's office agreement, I'd prefer to wait until we get closer to January because I still have to finalize my internal electronic, how I'm going to hold those. So that way we can keep it clear and neat. So I prefer to wait until we get closer for the board having their public meeting before I had any of those.
Okay. Perfect. I think that's the right direction.
So, did you guys get a chance to look at the talking
Yeah.
points?
Yep. Yep.
Do you have feedback for us?
I just have a question for Justin. Have you seen any changes since we spoke last?
Yeah, an increase.
Increasing.
This week there's been at least 2 in town.
Okay, so it was increasing. Yeah.
we are noticing more at the church, so we definitely will reach out.
I felt like this was really comprehensive. Y'all included things that I hadn't even thought of, so I'm glad, especially like the common misperceptions part. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really solid.
Yeah, very
I think
solid.
the important part is the reading and the,
Well, and again, I want to stress to the board, this is just a foundation. Yes, this isn't the end all, this is just our foundation.
Yeah.
When do you see the meeting happening?
That's up.
You guys asked for it in January at our last workshop? I'm sorry, you were not here, were you? So, we have the workshop, this is what we came up with. And then they wanted, the board as a whole wanted the information by this meeting, so that they can give us, yes, move forward with the meeting, or no, move forward, don't move forward, we still need to talk about it.
Great.
And then if you all are fine with this information, then staff will work to schedule a meeting sometime in January at the public library and invite the nonprofits, the churches, citizens, whatever, other government entities that way. But if January doesn't work for you all, let us know. I haven't looked at the library calendar, so I can't give you some dates. But if you are fine with this, then I'll look at the library calendar, I'll send you all some dates. Once you pick a date and time that works for you all, because you'll be leading the meeting, then we'll send it out, we'll notice it, and we'll start doing the outreach.
Great.
But if there's anything on this talking points document that you want us to add or have questions or don't feel is worded appropriately, we're looking for some feedback from you because we will give you this information when you're reviewing.
I think we need to continue on.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Let's move forward.
Why the library and not here? Just neutral?
Well, it was, I think what we had talked, and we can have it wherever, but I think what we had talked about was the potential intimidation factor of coming to town hall. The library just seems more friendly. If I'm remembering that workshop right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, just curious.
We can have it wherever you
It's
go.
pretty
Community
intimidating.
center. Should I have the community center too?
So,
Will we need to record it?
I will need to notice a public meeting.
Yeah, if the word is there, yes.
If more than 3 of you, I would.
It's probably worth recording just for historical.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the affordable workshop that we have all recorded.
Yeah.
Just.
So do we need to have it here or we can record it?
If
We can
you
go
want to
anywhere.
post it on YouTube, we'll need to have it here because we have the technology. If you just want it recorded and keep it for 6 months, then.
I don't think it matters if it's on YouTube or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Library's good.
library's good.
Yeah.
And I do have a question about, the people we're inviting. Is that on us to start inviting when we pick a
Not
date?
yet.
Okay, when we get our date.
Let us set a date, and then what we'll probably do is, I'll ask Mercedes to come up with a flyer.
Okay.
She's the designer, and then once we have it, I'll send it, and then you all can start sharing.
Okay.
Post it on our website, post it on Facebook. We will personally reach out to the churches and nonprofits that we know, probably via email or whatever, and then we'll send it to you all so that you can have a copy of it as well if you wanted to pass it around.
Is it, I know we're doing this organically within the community to try to come to some ideas. Are there any unhoused advocates or professionals in this field that could come and be a part of that meeting that could help inform the conversation about best practices? Or
There,
in Durango or?
Probably, yeah, I was on several community-based days in Durango, and I know they have one in Cortez too. So anyway, there are folks that are working on this from the services side of things.
It might be nice to have that voice in the room.
Sure. Yeah. So we can work on that. And I mean, some of these people that are on the invite list, they may be the content experts you're looking for too.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
so if there's no feedback, then the staff will get together again, figure out logistics, find a couple of dates, send them to you all, and again, kind of go with a majority, because I doubt all 7 of you are going to do it all at the same time, on the same day. But we'll send them out and see what we can do to organize a date at a time, and then we'll go from there. And once we have that, and we confirm it with the library, we'll create a flyer, and then send it out, and we'll start public outreach. You guys can do whatever public outreach you want that. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. I don't need a motion or anything. I just was looking for some feedback on those talking points. Because that's the document we're going to give to you all for the meeting. So.
And then you said you had another, resource list might be upgraded or just add more to this one.
Yes, and that's my fault. Jason said it to me, I did not get a chance to look at it yet. So you may get an updated resource list before that meeting, and we'll print out copies and you don't have to.
Yeah. Okay.
This resource list is what Shaq had to put together during COVID, and so I just went through and took off some things that didn't apply necessarily here, and then made sure all the links and everything still work. So that one, we'll look at that one and see what we can do.
The one I found was, so just quickly, resource lists are pretty difficult to keep up with. And so there's an entity that's already, the list I found is through the CIP program. And she's actively monitoring it and updating it.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we use some things that we don't have to be the ones that have to?
Okay.
See, the resources come and go frequently.
Right.
And so, anyway.
Okay.
So it might be we just do a link to their
Yeah,
info.
and she said every time she makes an update, now on the list search, she'll see the precious list. And I don't know how robust we're going to be about handing these resources out and let manually, but that's something we can do.
Well, and am I still understanding correctly that the point of this is the town will start with us to open a discussion and facilitate the meeting, but we do not want to take the lead on this project from the social services.
Correct.
We know we have certain things from a public safety standpoint that they must do, can't. That's kind of handles itself based on people. But am I still understanding that we want to start it and then try to get other agencies to run with it, or
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, I think it's important as we run the meeting that we're not taking a position on building services, that we're just trying to connect the community. I don't want us to.
All we're providing is legal, law enforcement or whatever, that's about all we can do.
Within our jurisdiction.
Right.
So Jason, will you be there?
Okay. You will now.
We will need you. There'll be plenty of questions about law enforcement.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, any comments? Okay, moving right along to the personnel manual update.
Yes, each year we update our personnel manual based on changes in HR law and legislation. And you guys saw this in the last workshop. So I have accepted all the changes from our HR attorneys, and I'm asking you to adopt this effective January 1 of 2024. Most of the changes were not substantive. They were mostly voluntary changes for legal required changes. The only thing that we did do was we added a DOT drug and alcohol policy to the personnel manual based on the fact that we now have DOT in place. But wanted you to see the final copy, updated page numbers, that kind of thing. But everything else in here was just kind of accepting the track changes from the attorneys.
Yeah, because when I looked through it, there was only one red lined in there, one item. The compensatory time issue. Okay.
The other, I do have one question. One of the things that you all asked during that workshop was related to comp time. Currently, there is no maximum amount of hours in our personnel manual that people can accrue. We do require that we utilize them in 12 months of accrual. Are you okay with that? Or do you want me to add a maximum number of hours? It would be a substantive change to staff because we've never had it when you notify staff. That's the one thing that we have kind of discussed and tap danced around. So I'm asking for some clarification, like a final answer from the board as a whole tonight. If you're fine with the current policy, which is working, or if you want a max number of comp hours.
So has there been a problem?
Well, from experience with dealing with comp time, both getting it and dealing with people with it, if you don't maximize it, people tend to just let it build, and then when they leave, it goes with them. You have to pay it. Part of the problem with that is, based from past experiences, that every time they get a raise, comp time gets a raise. That's the other thing is that some guys just bank it for that reason. But I think that we should put a cap on it so that we give them, we force them to take time off. Because otherwise, some guys, and I've had guys that just didn't care. Oh, don't give me the comp. I don't want it. I just, they just want to work. And that's not good for them. But the other is the people that abuse it, that just collect it knowing that when they leave, they're just getting raise. And it's a big, it costs, all of a sudden a guy comes in and says, I'm leaving tomorrow and I've got 500 hours of comp. Boom, and I mean, that can happen if you do not cap it.
But the thing is, they have to use it within 12 months.
Well, we don't have that.
Yeah, we do.
You have it now.
That's what we have now.
So
12 months.
If they cured in January, they gotta use it by next January.
Okay, what happens on December 30, January 1 of the year before? If they had 100 hours, it's gone, they lose it?
They lose it.
It's forfeited.
Yes.
It's not paid.
So we'll have to use it every year.
So it's a 12-month rolling,
Okay,
a
well, yeah,
rolling 12.
I missed that in there.
So if they accrue it in January, the next January it goes away,
Right.
those hours. And then whatever they accrued in February
Mhm,
go away
yeah,
in
yeah.
February.
The other thing that our personnel manual does say is if they have comp time, they have to use it before they use sick or vacation time.
Mhm.
So, and sick and vacation time do have caps.
Yeah.
We do not pay out vacation time upon separation, but we do pay out vacation.
Well, you said sick time.
They pay out vacation.
Right, I was gonna say, whoa, wait a minute.
And they have to use their comp time before they can use sick or vacation time. So,
That's more comforting. Yeah, that wasn't in
Yeah.
the ones that I had dealt with. So, yeah, it was just a concern because I've seen people.
And presumably they have to get approval to work overtime.
they do have to get approval
Yeah.
to work and to earn comp time from their.
And there's times, the week out here, I mean, there's times you have no
There's
choice.
times
You gotta be here.
I mean, and the overtime for the town's probably not really huge. Most everything's planned other than emergency water break or.
Snow removal.
Snow removal, that's
And if
always,
we have someone on vacation, we do have a small.
Right,
But
I mean,
it's
but-
not a problem right now.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been a problem in the 15 years I've been here. But having said that, we can, I just wanted to make sure because we had a discussion and it was a little.
Well, it's a living document, it
It was a little
can always be adjusted at any time.
Yeah.
if we have to.
Yeah.
So,
If
I
it
mean,
becomes a problem, I would absolutely.
right, if it became a problem, you could bring it back to.
no, and I'm coming, I didn't realize, I missed the 12-month roller.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
I think we have good control mechanisms on it right now.
The department heads do pay absolutely attention to
Yeah.
what's happening in the departments. They have to sign the time sheets. And if someone is starting to accrue some comp time, Josh has a little bit of comp time because Kyle's been on vacation, Josh is in the plant, so Terry's spoken to Josh, Josh is taking some time.
Sure.
We're small enough that I think it.
Mhm.
Plus for their sanity, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that's
Yeah,
people.
that's a big thing.
Mental health.
Mhm.
Sure. Okay. Well, if you're okay with what is happening now, then we'll just.
Adopted. And
Okay, do we need a motion?
I do, please.
Okay, entertain,
Effective January 1, 2024.
Yeah, got it.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt revised personnel manual and drug and alcohol policies effective January 1, 2024.
I'll second.
We have a motion by trustee Denise Bryant and a second by trustee Richard Tucker to adopt the revised personnel manual and drug alcohol policies effective January 1, 2024. Mercedes, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan,
Aye.
trustee Richard Hooker,
Aye.
trustee Ed Helm,
Aye.
trustee
Okay, motion carries. Moving right along to the Board of Adjustment appointments. Heather?
We are having another board of adjustments meeting in December.
Is this related?
And so I need 5 alternate board of adjustment members appointed, please. I have stayed out of this process. Jamie, Jason, and Mercedes staff are finding people, contacting them, asking if they would serve. So we do though need the board to please appoint these 5 alternates because we do need to move forward with another board of adjustments.
So does that mean the people who already were on the Board of Adjustment, they're not gonna do it?
They're not going to do the next meeting, these alternates.
These alternates?
Just for the one meeting?
Correct.
Right, because it has legal ramifications.
Any other comments?
Are all of these people aware that they need to know the regulations that apply and that they need to uphold the regulations?
I'm going to have Jamie do an orientation,
Okay.
but we need you to
Yeah.
appoint them first, and then we will have an orientation, and then because at their meeting, they are going to need to appoint a chair and vice chair, and then, so they're going to need, I think, a little bit of training.
Yeah.
But once they're appointed, I will work with Jamie as the town clerk, and however she wants to handle the orientation is to her.
Okay.
But, yeah, we're gonna need to have some kind of training.
Yeah.
Or at least, this is how it works, this is, here's the code, and there will be, legal counsel, I believe, on both sides.
Okay.
Explain. So,
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Fancy Navarro, Wynn Jones, Daniel Hennick, I think, excuse me, and Sally Dzizik and Sherry Grasta as alternates for the Board of Adjustments.
I'll second.
And then a motion by trustee T.H. Bryant and a second by trustee Richard Tucker to appoint Fancy Navarro, Lynn Jones, Daniel Hennick, Sally Izik, and Sherry Grazda as alternates for the Board of Adjustments. Mercedes, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Friend.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tucker.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Allen.
Aye.
Trustee McMinn.
Aye.
so I will have Jamie contact the Board of Adjustment alternates on Monday when she returns to the office. And she will move forward with oaths of office and orientation and that kind of thing. She'll pull in whichever staff other than myself. She feels is appropriate to follow. So, or to help her out. So she'll contact them on Monday.
Okay, so then we added the staff board holiday party for discussion. Does anybody have any comments or any days that would be a good time to do that, or do you want to do it, or?
We have a lot of vacation in December. So if you guys are going to move forward, or if you guys do want to do this, would it be possible to float a couple of dates? Just so that I can get back to you potentially with who's out of town and who's not around. And I have a lot of vacation discussion with staff happening for December. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, and could we do it in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, like January or February when people are bored out.
New Year's party or something.
Just do a staff board,
A holiday.
yeah. I mean,
do it.
Whatever you guys want, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's just kind of fun for us to get together and get to know each other a little bit and socialize a little bit. I know we enjoyed the ugly sweater contest and the bingo gets kind of wild and crazy, but I just think it's fun and for us to just kind of to get together. So you guys, I know every organization is having Christmas parties, every company is having their Christmas parties and things. So possibly we maybe think about this and maybe we can talk about it in January, do it for January or February.
No, I think we ought to table it till the first meeting in January so we can discuss it.
Oh, push it that far out?
Yeah, I think we ought maybe.
December's tough.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
I mean,
December is tough.
I mean, because there's talk we're not gonna have the end of January or December meeting.
Sure.
So, let's push it out to the first meeting in January.
First January?
Yeah, and we'll discuss possible dates and.
You guys agreeable with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot going on in December. So.
Yeah.
I will come to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is items for the December 13th, 2023 meeting. We have a public hearing for the 2024 budget and mill levy adoption. We'll have the 2024 resolutions, the board meeting dates, the plant investment fees, monthly utility rates, the possible cancellation of the December 27th, 2023 board meeting, the 2023 budget amendment, and community development action plan approval. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add?
Do student liaisons have anything you guys or? So this is the part of the meeting where we plan the next agenda. So, if you guys have things, and this is your first one, so we didn't call on you, but, moving forward, once we get your tablets and everything, I'll set up my meeting for you guys and reviews of information about moving forward at the meetings. during each of these action items, we may be asking for your opinion or your thoughts, even though somebody may be asking for your feedback. And then this part of the agenda for a future meeting, if you have something that you would like to bring to the board, or you would like them to discuss, or like them to think about, this is where you would speak up and say, hey, I have something that I would like to consider. And then what the board does is they say, yeah, we want to see that on the next agenda, or hey, we want more information from staff, or whatever. So this is where we're going to plan our next agenda. So it is your first meeting, so don't get the meeting, but just be thinking in between meetings, if there's something you want to talk about in a meeting, this is where you can do that. Okay?
And there's also a time when we have audience business. After the audience business, we don't make comments usually to whoever presents. But if it's something really, really important that really strikes one of the board members or you guys at that time, right after they speak, you might say, I would like to see that. I would like staff to look into that more, and then if the board agrees, then we would look into that and we would put it on the agenda, but we'll do that right after audience business. So the people who do bring audience business knows that we've heard them and then we will listen to them. If we wait till the last of the thing, they usually leave and they don't know that we've even paid any attention to them. So we try to do that right after audience business if somebody has. It really strikes them that they want to have further information. Okay, so next on the agenda is the executive session. And so I would need a motion to go into executive session.
I move we go into executive session for discussion of a personnel matter under CRS section 24-6-4024F, as in Frank, and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body or any elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or of an elected official, or personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Heather, do we need a roll call?
We do need a roll call.
Mercedes, would you call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tucker.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Helen.
Aye.
Trustee Nick Nitty.
And so we have a quorum, so we will be going into executive session, and so we will ask everybody to leave at this time.
And shut off recording.
So our students get to escape now, right? Yes.
Yeah, you get to go home.
You guys, we don't have a board meeting next.
Not next week, it's the next board meeting. And I will do what I did this time, is I'll send you the packet on Friday, so it'll kind of include you. But the next board meeting is December 13th. Awesome. Yes.
So we have.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Nothing more than a week of Thanksgiving for you all.
Thanks, guys.
Ready?
Just before we shut down.
That'll help.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Tori.
It's November 8th, 2023, and the time is 8:09 p.m. For the record, I am the presiding officer, Mayor Queenie Bars. As required by the Open Meetings Law, this executive session will be electronically recorded. Also present at this executive session are the following persons: Trustee Denise Bryant, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson, Trustee Richard Toker, Trustee Ed Allen, and Trustee Nick Manning, Attorney David Lieberman, and Town Administrator Heather Alvarez. This is an executive session for the following purpose: for discussion of a personnel matter under CRS Section 24-6-4024F, and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body or any elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or of an elected official, or personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees. I caution each participant to confine all discussion to the stated purpose of the executive session and that no formal action may occur in the executive session. If at any point in the executive session any participant believes that the discussion is going outside the proper scope of the executive session, please interrupt the discussion and make an objection. Okay.